29 abducted students of Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Afaka, in Kaduna State regained freedom from their captors today. And in the wake of attacks in Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodinma launched Operation Search and Flush as it delivers new operational vehicles to security agencies. The governor is our guest tonight to speak on the situation of things in Ebube Agu and the Southeast politics. We shall be taking you through this ride for the next 1 hour. It's the midweek edition of the program. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Let's begin by giving you this piece of good news coming from Kaduna State. 29 abducted students of Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Africa in Kaduna State have regained freedom from their captors. The chairman of the Parents Committee, Abdullah Usman, told Channels Television that the victims were released around Kidanda community in Gidwa local government area. Usman, however, did not disclose the amount paid as ransom for the release of the students. Parents of the students and the nation at large have been traumatized since the abduction of the 39 students about 2 months ago. 10 of them were released a few weeks ago, while the kidnappers had demanded a huge ransom for their parents to secure their release. 16 students from the Greenfield University, also in Kaduna State, are staying in captivity, while their abductors are also demanding ransom. 5 of them have been killed and 1 released yesterday. We have some more stories for you on our political roundup.
The Federal Executive Council today approved about 6.2 billion naira for the award of contracts in the power sector. The approvals include the award of a contract for design, manufacturing and supply of critical spare parts. The Power Minister notes that these procurements are geared towards upgrading the transmission system to the national grid for greater efficiency and ensure sufficient power supply to the nation in no distant time. On the promised distribution of 1 million meters to labor, Mr. Maman Saleh says the first phase is close to completion. He makes the emphasis that Nigerians who receive less than 24 hours power supply will be charged lesser tariff than others. Jigawa State Governor Badru Abubakar has raised an alarm over insecurity in neighboring states of Yobe, Bauchi and Katsina. The governor stated this after an emergency security meeting held at the Sir Ahmadu Bello Hall in Dutse, the state capital.
And that is why we call the Traditional Council to report any suspected movement from any number of states that has the threats.
84 million naira monthly fraud have been discovered in the local government pensions administration of Nasarawa State. This was the crux of the findings of a committee set up by the Nasarawa State government to look into pensions administration in the third tier of government. The committee revealed this while submitting its report to Governor Abdullahi Sule, who assures to investigate the matter in order to stall further occurrences.
We need to be able to identify what is right and commend it, and identify what is wrong and punish it so that we can stop it.
I remain Honorable Babajimi Benson.
The House of Representatives is asking the federal government to suspend the planned 2021 census until the insecurity situation in the country is addressed. This follows a motion of urgent public importance raised by Representative Shehu Barwa. The lawmakers are concerned that many Nigerians have been displaced and sending any staff to high security risk areas will be directly putting them in danger. They are also concerned about the resources which may go to waste if the census is held.
Intelligence gathering technology.
The House of Representatives is asking the Nigerian Army to send reinforcement to support the troops of Operation Wellstroke in Benue State. This is sequel to a motion of urgent national importance raised by Representative Mark Bila, drawing the attention of the House to a resurgence of wanton killings of innocent Nigerians by suspected herdsmen in Gwe West local government area, Guma, Markadi and Agatu, all in Benue State. Mr. Bila says 70 people were killed in the last 3 weeks and questions the seeming inability of Operation Wellstroke to curb the attacks.
With a view to identify any constraint deterring them from carrying out their mandate of protecting the lives and property of Nigerian people,
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. There have been a series of debates over the state of affairs in the country. In the National Assembly, lawmakers are divided across the aisle. Yesterday, PDP caucus in the National Assembly voiced out their frustration at a press conference addressed by the Senate Minority Leader, Ayanaya Abaribe. Let me remind you of what he said.
Gentlemen of the vibrant Nigerian press, we have not seen our president. We have not heard from our president, despite the daily killings that are going on and that has turned Nigeria into a killing field of unimaginable proportion. And therefore, the caucus has taken note and will continue to take note of the constitutional breaches that is happening at this time by the government of the APC, and will at the appropriate time utilize all constitutional methods and measures available after consultation with our colleagues to do the needful to save the country from collapse. We also, as a caucus, want to put on notice to all Nigerians and the international community about the threats to the lives of our members, to those who come out to say things that are true about the state of Nigeria today. And these threats have come in various forms, including threat to life.
Well, that's the side of the PDP caucus. And today, the APC caucus in the National Assembly is responding to yesterday's press briefing by opposition PDP lawmakers. The APC lawmakers are briefing journalists at the National Assembly. The Senate Majority Leader, Yahya Abdullahi, who spoke on behalf of the caucus, kicks against constitutional threats by the opposition and rejects the insinuation that President Buhari is not fully in charge of the country. Take a listen to him.
We are quite aware of the role an opposition plays in any democracy. However, the statement by the PDP caucus has gone too far, given the good working relationships that we had with them in the 9th National Assembly, especially the minority caucus in the Senate. In any democracy, the right to present criticisms and concerns on the state of the nation's affairs are unassailable. However, while we respect such rights, we believe that those rights come with obligations and responsibility. In all our deliberations, the entire Senate, including the minority, have discussed exhaustively in very robust, transparent, and patriotic flavor to arrive at our concrete resolutions, jointly without opposition from members of the minority caucus. We want to assure Nigerians that Mr. President is in charge of the government and is discharging his duties conscientiously and patriotically. It is a well-known fact that the federal government under the PDP refused to invest in the security infrastructure of the country, while Mr. President under the APC-led government had massively invested in this regard, more than any other past government, including the military. And we are confident that the nation will surmount its current security challenges.
You remember that heated debate they had on the floor where lawmakers were speaking and suggesting ways to resolve the insecurity situation. It does look like across the divide now, they're speaking differently. So let's go deeper into some of these security issues in the country. The Southeast region has been badly hit by attacks in the past weeks. Imo State, for example, has received more of those attacks. Today, the Imo State government says it is committed to flushing out criminals and ensure adequate protection of lives and property of all residents of the state. The governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, is confident about this when he made an official presentation of security vehicles and communication gadgets to security operatives in the state under the code name Operation Search and Flush. Governor Hope Uzodinma will be speaking to us tonight. He's our guest, and he joins us from Owerri, the state capital of Imo State. Thank you for joining us tonight, Senator Hope Uzodinma, Executive Governor of Imo State. Let's begin by getting more from you tonight on what you did today. You launched the security vehicles and communication gadgets to security operatives, and you codenamed it, that initiative, Operation Search and Flush. What prompted this?
When I came to office here, January 2020, the first thing I did, having regards to the security situation in Imo State, was to initiate a project called Operation Search and Flush, where we put together a combined team of security officials from the various agencies, security agencies. And in that regard, I procured vehicles and communication gadgets to support security agencies to fight against criminality in Imo State. We recorded a very huge success, and the crime rate came down very tremendously. When after the EndSARS saga, insecurity started growing up again, it became necessary to strengthen the outfit by procuring more vehicles and more security gadgets and other security equipments to support our security agencies against the backdrop of increasing crime rate. So today, we procured additional 100 vehicles to support the outfit in our quest to strengthen their capacity to respond to crime. And we launched it today, and security agencies are also very happy with it. And it is our hope that it will help them to face the situation of the moment and bring down to a very minimal level the crime rate in the state and possibly flush out criminality in the state. It is our duty as a government to ensure the safety of lives and property in our state and to ensure that people go about their businesses without fear of any molestation.
I tried to look into the budget of Imo State for 2021, but I'm not sure that I saw anything like these purchases that some of these vehicles that you launched. Is it an extra budgetary measure that you've taken on this one, or how would you explain the rationale behind the purchases which you presented publicly today?
To look very well, you will see the item in our budget. It is contained in our supplementary budget 2020. It's also contained in our 2021 capital votes expenditure. I will not spend outside the budget. You know I'm a parliamentarian coming from the Senate. I understand the dynamics of governance.
In the usage of these vehicles and these gadgets, is there, I mean, part of what you launched today, you have the communication gadgets and you have the vehicles. First and foremost, with the structure of policing in the state, this is not only for the police in Imo State, it's also for the military and other security agencies. How do you hope to spread this? And I'll come to the issue of the communication, whether or not you have a center to coordinate the communication and what your plan is in terms of IT, technology in monitoring security in the state. So based on what you launched, the vehicles, how do you hope to spread it, or how have you allocated it?
Operation Search and Flush is a combined team of the Army, the Navy, the Police, the Air Force, the Civil Defense Corps, and other paramilitary security agencies. And working together is a combined team. The vehicles will be manned, they will use everything in common, and then we'll have a communication gadgets with a radius that covers the entire width of the state to enable communication inter-agencies and intra-agencies. So it is a system that creates a signage between the different security agencies working together with a common objective of flushing out criminality in the state.
A central control center for this communication, in terms, you said there is a synergy between them, but which of these agencies is centrally controlling, and do you have a center where you centrally control the communication process?
There is a control center, a communication coordination center, represented. Every officer has every agency has an officer in that control room. The Army is represented, the police is represented, the DSS is represented, the civil defense also represented. They share intelligence, they plan their operation together, and they have a common goal, which is making sure the state is safe for the citizens and the visitors alike.
I will wonder how this will look like, because the attacks that we're seeing majorly on security formations, military, police, even the police headquarters was first attacked when the assailants attacked the correctional facility. So I imagine how this synergy might be and how they will be working together going forward. But let me ask you, Your Excellency, what lessons have you learned on what have you discovered in the investigation and findings on the recent happenings in your state?
One thing I would like to show you is that what we are doing now, we're on the right track. The ultimate goal is to ensure that what happened a few weeks ago at the correctional center, at police headquarters, various police stations, it is our hope that it will not happen again. We've reviewed our strategy. We've also looked where we have gaps. We've done our best to close the gaps. We've strengthened our strategy, and we have reviewed our modus operandi. And I'm very confident that we are now prepared to face these bandits.
Okay, you call them bandits now. So are they the ones behind this? Are the bandits behind? Like we saw, like we were saying in Northwest?
Whether it's a bandit, whether it's a hoodlum, whether it's a criminal, a crime is crime. Anybody that is engaged with illegal activities, that is crime, that is not allowed by law, can be called any name, whether bandit, whether a criminal, whether a thief, whatever it is. Banditry, hoodlum, armed robbery, kidnapper, all these things are not allowed by our law.
Okay, so, because I'm wondering, when you say that you have blocked all of the loopholes, for example, when there was an incident, the attack on the military checkpoint in Rivers State, the governor there in Rivers State blocked all the checkpoints and all the entrances, declared curfew. Abia State governor declared curfew in his state and some of the adjoining states or the border states to him. Are you thinking in that direction?
We have peculiarities, and the strategy that will work in Rivers State may not work in Imo State. Here in Imo, if it becomes necessary to impose curfew, I will. But at the moment, we have not considered it necessary to impose curfew because we also think of the economic consequences of imposing curfew and strangulating small-scale businesses around here. So, but it is also important that we look at ways of containing the situation without visiting hardship on the citizen. So for now, my preoccupation is to occupy the space and provide sufficient security that will guarantee an environment that will allow my people do their businesses without any fear of molestation.
So in the first place, one will imagine how much, why the security agents were overwhelmed. It looks so much so in the manner in which we saw the attacks. And when the repelling didn't come as fast as you should be, because these attackers came and they operate and they left, and this happened subsequently. For you, did this highlight any of the loopholes? What did you discover? Because if an attack happened on the police headquarters, on the correctional facilities, and happened on military checkpoints in Imo State, happened in some other police stations in Imo State, and they do this attack over several minutes before they go, what lesson and what did these bring out to you vividly?
So I said these times without number, and I want you people to look into this matter, particularly coming from your constituency, the media. What is happening in the country today, not only in Imo State, is not ordinary. Here, from all indications, this is a sponsored program by some people and is targeted at the government of President Muhammad Buhari and APC. And the whole idea is to discredit this government, whether rightly or wrongly, and then with a view to coming up in 2023 to see how they can put in a new government. I have said these times without number that the crisis that is happening today in Nigeria is sponsored. I don't want to preempt the investigation that we are carrying out currently. But at the end of the day, when the report is ready, Nigerians will know the truth. But I want to challenge those politicians who are aggrieved, who had the opportunity but couldn't deliver, to think twice and save our country, because the unity and interest of this country is more important than any individual interest. I want to say that politics must be played with some level of decorum. People must have consciences. People must do things with fear of God. This government of President Muhammad Buhari should be allowed to function. All of us must not be president at a time. It must be one person at a particular time. Now it is the wish of God that he is the president. Let us support him and build our country. This is the only country we have, and we have no other country we can call our own.
So I know that you've categorically linked the attacks in your state to politicians. You recently also vowed to reveal the identities of those behind the attacks in your state. Can you give us specific names of people spearheading all this mayhem?
I want to allow security agencies to do their work. And because the matter is still under investigation, I don't want to preempt the investigations that are going on. But I can assure you, Shehu, sooner than later, you will see a comprehensive report that will expose the identity of those behind what has happened in Imo State and what is possibly happening in other states of the country. Nigeria is a federation, and you have seen the trend of crime and violence in the country. You also see that we have different cultures. Our behavioral pattern different, but yet you can see some similarities in what is happening in Imo State, in what is happening in Ebonyi State, and what is happening in Kaduna State. Have you asked your question, why is this thing more in Imo State? Why is it more in Ebonyi State? Why is it more in Kaduna State? These are core APC states that are really delivering dividends of democracy to the people, to the credit of APC. And that is the only targets these people have chosen. Very soon, we will rise to the occasion. In Imo State, I have decided to confront it head on, and I will ensure that those behind this thing and the perpetrators will be flushed out from the state.
We're due for a break in a few seconds, but when you say that politicians are behind this, your opposition has said it's just a political statement that you're making and that it's just a mere witch hunt.
Well, we have seen it several times when people will commit things in the night and cry in the day. But I'm confident that our security agencies are equal to the task. Very soon, a very practical report will be available for Nigerians to see.
Let's take a breather, Governor Uzodinma. And when we come back, more on what is happening in Imo State in the Southeast region, the politics of Nigeria and the APC. We take on all of us with the Executive Governor of Imo State when we return from this break, everyone. Join us again. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Our conversation tonight is with the Executive Governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma. He's our guest tonight and is live with us from Owerri, the Imo State capital. Let's get back to the conversation. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for time tonight. It is a month now that the attack on the Correctional Center and Police Headquarters happened. What made you say at the time that the attacks were political when the then IG, the Inspector General of Police, gave a different clue as to what was happening?
I will at this moment not want you to preoccupy yourself with what the former IG said or what people said. Investigation is going on. We've made an arrest. Confessional statements have been made. We have already traced the incident to those who perpetrated them and those who sponsored them. But I don't want to preempt this investigation at this point or stage. I will crave your indulgence to allow security agencies to finish their work. The one thing I'm going to assure you is that working with security agencies, we will get to the bottom of the matter. And we must do something that will act as a deterrent. I've had people condemn what is happening in Imo State, or what is whether the people are being arrested or people are not being arrested. I can't sit here as a government, and allow my people suffer humiliation. My people die from people I don't know their identities. I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know what they want. I have a responsibility to protect lives here. I have a responsibility to protect properties here. I have a responsibility to allow the economy here to move. So this is why we are a government. So I'm going to tell you, play down on sentiments. Let us work with facts. I'm very sure that any moment within the period we're talking about, a comprehensive investigation report will be out. Those ones that are indicted will be charged to court according to law. I don't want to join issues with anybody, but today I'm the governor, and I should be able to give proper accounts of the activities of government in Imo State.
In terms of searching for peace and mending fences, are there plans for you to enter into any kind of agreement or parley up with your predecessor, of the former governor, that is Senator Rochas Okorocha? Some believe that if you reconcile with him, it might help to de-escalate the kind of tension we see in your state today.
So the implication of what you are saying is that the tension is caused by some group of people, and once I reconcile with them, tension will come down. Is that what you are saying?
I'm just asking this question. It's an innocent question, because I know politically you may differ.
No, I'm not quarreling with my predecessor, Okorocha. Like I told you, I'm not quarreling with him. I have nothing against him. The only thing, there are certain things that were not properly done here, that I have a responsibility between my God and my conscience to ensure are corrected for the interest of our people, which every reasonable mind will also agree with me that that is the right thing to do. So we're not quarreling. After all, we belong to the same party, APC. Is that correct? So I don't think, but if you think that there is any disagreement or he has reported any case or any disagreement, if you bring it to my notice, I will address them.
You don't think that the political tension might also be a brainchild of some kind of other tensions?
Then what you call tension is maybe in the social media. Come to Imo State, go around the streets and feel the mood of the people. You agree with me that the people are even happier, apart from the ugly incident of this banditry and attacks on government facilities and security agencies that we noticed of late, which, like I said earlier, we've deployed the proper strategy to confront those attacks going forward.
I'm curious, though, Governor, when you mentioned that the attacks are majorly on APC state, but you look at state like Zamfara, you look like state like Benue, they are not APC states.
Look at, if I would like you to find out the root causes and this type of attacks on these states, they're not, you cannot compare them with what is happening in the states mentioned earlier to you. But what I'm saying is that I'm calling again on our security agencies to please speed up their investigation, because some of the people behind this violence are known. And by now, any moment from now, I'm sure they're supposed to begin to expose them and expose their names to Nigeria. So let me tell you now.
Okay.
Nigeria is a federation, and every state is a federating unit, and every state has a governor. But you see, the moment a police station is attacked in a state, the next thing you will hear opposition says, President Muhammad Buhari, APC, as if Muhammad Buhari is the governor of that state. In every state, there is a governor who is the chief security officer. And there is no evidence anywhere that any governor has gone for security support or intervention from the president and it was not given, whether APC governor or PDP governor. So it tells you that this premeditated program of attack is political. Otherwise, why would the president of the country be answerable to an attack on a local police station in a local government, third tier of government? So why are they not calling the governors? Why are they not calling the local government chairman? Why must it be President Muhammad Buhari that they are calling? For a local government offense, they want the Mr. President to come from Federal Republic to address it, circumventing the powers of the state, going up to local government to address issues. I mean, for Christ's sake, let us be sincere and face the truth.
Okay, it's interesting because for some reasons, your predecessor, I mean, well, if I say predecessor now, your former governor, has attributed some of the things that are happening to issues of bad governance. Do you agree with him?
Well, I will invite you to visit Imo State and then go around this place and know whether the governance here is good or is bad, or is better than what we had before I came, or is what assessed by yourself, because I'm not going to market myself. I will allow the public, the people, because we are in a democracy, government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Let the people say, I'm an interested party, and maybe you must have also heard from some other interested party. Their interest may not be the same kind of interest I have. So that I can assure you that this government, so far, so good, and better than what we met on ground.
Okay, so I will probably just probe further into what you said relating to the responsibilities of governors in their state. So you say in essence that President Buhari has given every governor, every state, everything, the wherewithal to be able to handle security in their state and the support necessary. Because I've spoken to some governors on this program who have said that they don't feel like the chief security officer of their state because of the manner in which the security structure of the country is being run.
Well, you don't blame challenges of governance when it has to do with security on President Muhammad Buhari, because he is not the author of 1999 Constitution, as amended. I was in the Senate, in the 7th Senate. We did everything to amend the Constitution to allow for state police. We carried out public hearing. It was voted out. In the 8th Senate, we did everything to allow for state police. it was voted that President Muhammad Buhari is not in the National Assembly. And he cannot work outside the constitution he swore oath to defend. So if you want state police, call on National Assembly to amend the constitution and allow for the creation of state police. The president cannot amend the constitution on his own and cannot administratively create state police. He will be violating his oath of office. That is why I want men of good conscience to speak the truth and carry the genuine interests of the country first, so that there will be peace and unity in this country. Now, let us not allow our selfish interests and ambitions blindfold us to the extent that we do things that will destroy the country that is our national treasure.
Let me try to go further into the incident in Imo State. A 42-year-old businessman was arrested by security operatives and said to be allegedly behind the burning of police stations and prisons in Imo State. What more do we know as of now about that particular person?
Well, I know that some people have been arrested and some confessions have been made as those who went to attack police headquarters in Owerri. And of course, names have been called. And those names, security agencies are inviting them to make statements. Of course, it's allowed by law and is within the mandate of the security agencies. I don't know why now we have to bring the issue to on the television to be discussing as to merits or demerits of inviting a man who has been accused of an offense to come and make statements before security agencies. I think that if there is any man in Owerri who have been invited by security agencies or arrested to make statements having regard to the incident that happened at the police headquarters in Owerri, I mean, the law allows that. Unless it's not an illegal arrest.
So you've made some of these purchases and you're making some of this effort. It shows that because of some of the things that happened security-wise, when you were making your budget plans earlier in the year or late last year, these were not captured. You were not thinking about it. But it's coming at a point where state governments are also crying out about the dwindling revenues and the issues of making more money. Some state governments are even saying that they might not be able to meet their obligations of paying the minimum wage. How will these affect the purse of Imo State, and how are you going to be able to cope with this development and the purse of the state in the face of the dwindling revenues?
When you count your losses, you also count your gains. When I came here, I came to Imo State as the governor. I met an IGR profile of less than 400 million a month. If you check today, I've grown the IGR in excess of 1.2 billion naira a month. I've automated the payment processes. I've automated the payroll. I've also made some savings. Prudently, I'm deploying those savings to critical infrastructure and things that will add value to our people. So it's not as if we have all the money in this world, but by true prudent management, we can really create value. So I'm also affected in terms of how much we get from Federation account. I'm also affected. It has dwindled a lot. What I also made sure when I came was to try to pay the minimum wage. I'm still talking with the labor union as to what they call consequential adjustment, which may not be easily affordable by us now because we don't have the money to handle that. But I'll do my best to sustain the payment of minimum wage without the consequential adjustment. Until such a time, we'll be in a position to do better or pay that. But I think that if we wear our thinking cap, manage our mega resources, identify our areas of priority, and ensure that things are done and done well, our people will be happy.
So considering the Let's go back to the core of the issue of security. Considering the spate of attacks we've seen in your state recently, one would wonder that there would have been some strategy, aside the one that you launched today, by your government to arrest the situation. If there is, what could that be?
Sorry, I didn't hear you well.
I'm saying that considering what has happened in your state, that you probably will be thinking about a strategy in permanently arresting the situation. What would that strategy be?
Yeah, it was. I've heard that I've taken a law to the State House of Assembly to enact a law that will allow for community vigilante groups that will complement the efforts of the security agencies in managing security at the various communities through homegrown solutions and programs. So we are working on that. As soon as the law is ready, we will inaugurate them and we'll join the Operation Search and Flush and the surveillance intelligence gathering activities to ensure that we have 24-hour security at all times.
What relationship does that or will that have with Ebube-Agu, the Southeast Security Network that you and your governor colleagues launched recently?
Well, Southeast Imo State Vigilante Group will be nicknamed the Ebube-Agu. The Ebube-Agu is just a phrase. That is the what do I call it? A lion. You know, the lion comes with fear. So that is what it is. So, but what is important is to bring able-bodied young men and women to help security agencies collect intelligence and follow up the activities of unknown people around communities and report such activities to the appropriate security agencies. So that working with such intels, security agencies will do their job seamlessly.
Have you resolved the issue around who is going to head the Imo Ebube-Agu part?
As soon as we finish the structure, we will of course appoint somebody. But we must appoint somebody who is literate enough, who is knowledgeable enough, who understands security and the need for a united Nigeria.
So speak to this. In the Southeast, there are 5 states. Some are governed by the APC governors and the PDP governor. With these political divisions, what is the prospect of the Ebube-Agu?
But the issue of security across the zone and even in states transcends beyond the political parties. A governor of Imo would be happy with quality security situation in Anambra, in Ebonyi State, in Enugu State, in Abia State, irrespective of whose party is the governor. We all come from the same place, Southeast geopolitical zones. And if Abia is peaceful, of course, the implication is that Imo will be peaceful. And by extension, Anambra, Enugu, and Ebonyi. If there is crisis or violence in Abia, the implication is that there will also be likely crisis in Imo State. So we are better off working together, reasoning together, thinking together, and ensuring that we have security in such a manner that there will be peace in the entire zone.
Okay, so we understand that well over 1,000 of the inmates of the Owerri Correctional Facility are still out there and they're at large. Out of the about 1,800 or so that were freed a month ago. What update do you have for us on that?
Well, we are still making efforts and we're working, and day by day, the security agencies are arresting some of the inmates. You see, at a point we recovered, we got 50, we got 100. We're getting them. We're getting over 800 and something. So by the grace of God, some of them are even coming back on their own. So with time, and I'm sure that those hard ones will also be rearrested and be brought back to the facility. So it is a continuous thing. Unfortunately, it has happened, it has happened. What we should do is, going forward, how to ensure it doesn't repeat itself, and how to manage the challenges that will come with the incident.
Because local government administration is a major issue. The president signed an executive order in that respect. Give us an understanding of your relationship with local government and the administrators there. Are you one of those who are allowing local governments to work? And what are you doing differently in Imo State as relating to local government administration?
Last year, 2 months after I came into office, I reconstituted the Imo State State Electoral Commission. And we already started the enumeration and the preparation of voters' register preparatory to the conduct of local government elections. And part of what we had in our guidelines was to adopt option F4 that will make the exercise very transparent. Unfortunately, with the emergence of COVID-19 pandemic and its consequential protocol, people are not allowed to gather. The state may not have the wherewithal to conduct a local government election in a manner that will be able to observe completely the protocol of COVID-19. So we are waiting. As soon as the matter goes down, we will conduct a transparent election. Presently, I've allowed the caretaker committee to manage the various local governments, because what I met on ground was also a caretaker committee by my predecessor. So I need time to conduct the local government election. And I believe that if we strengthen the local government administration, and if we allow local government system to function, that the development will be fast-tracked, and our people will be better off for it.
But what about their finances? Are they running by themselves, or you still have a common purse?
Oh, they are running their finances. We're here, we have a local government auditor, and we have a local government council. They run their finances, and the best we can do is from time to time, we try to monitor to ensure that they're doing things the way things should be done.
So you went to President Muhammadu Buhari on this matter of security. What did you tell him about the situation, and what was his response to you? And did he make any promises to you about federal government's intervention?
Well, I told you that Nigeria is a federation, Sean. Imo State is a federating unit. Here in Imo State, I'm the chief executive officer. I'm in charge. So I went to the president to call for his intervention in the area of manpower support from the security agencies and some equipment. And he graciously approved my request. And I'm being supported sufficiently to handle the situation here. So I am not, I didn't go there to ask Mr. President to give me money or to do things outside his powers, but only for his intervention to strengthen security in Imo State. And that has been done.
What specifically was that? When you say to strengthen, what did you ask him and what did he give you?
Well, as for additional manpower to Nigerian police force in Imo State, additional manpower to the army in Imo State. And as I speak to as of today, additional manpower has been sent to Imo State. And vehicles has been sent, military vehicles have been sent to Imo State for them to work. And I'm confident that working with what we have now, we're in position to deal with the situation in Imo State.
There's some, we're getting some reactions to the security situation in the country. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has waded into the current situation in the country, and he's saying that the country might need to adopt a carrot and stick approach to fight challenges to a standstill. One of his major points is that leaders must ensure that the 2023 election bets the emergence of a new federation in Nigeria. Otherwise, the country may be sliding into ground dissolution. Let me get your reaction to that comment by former President Olusegun Obasanjo.
Well, you know, his father is an elder, and when elders issue advices like this, we take the advice home and use them as people who are genuine. I don't think that I will begin to evaluate the advice given to a statesman, a national leader like the former president. Rather, what I will choose to do is to call on my colleagues governors. We must rise to the occasion and man our states, ask for support from federal government, man our states, and deal with the issue of this insecurity, because democracy still remains the best form of governance anywhere in the world. And democracy will help our country to grow among community of nations. I think we have a responsibility, this generation has a responsibility to work, secure, protect our country, and be proud of what we have as a country.
You've spoken in the past about the attack on your home in your hometown. You've spoken about the incidents in Imo and around the state. But those are specific incidents to those situations, talking about permanent fix to some of the problems that you're facing in Imo State and the nation generally. Some of your colleague governors are talking about multi-layered policing, state policing. They say that is the way out. They want that the situation where the federal government is over-bloated, it's carrying too much. Do you agree? And if you're talking to the president in this regard, what exactly would you be telling him? Because people are asking for political will in resolving some of this situation.
Joe, I sincerely believe that on the issue of state policing, local government policing, we are not supposed to take any matter to the presidency. I think what we should do is come together, if we think that is what we want, sponsor a bill to the National Assembly calling for the amendment of the Constitution, and then defend this thing, go for public hearing. You know, I came from the parliament. I know that the only way we can bring state police to work or be available in Nigeria is through the amendment, to amend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and allow a room for state police. The president has no power to do that. The presidency has no power to do that. Let us now sponsor a private member bill to the National Assembly and get National Assembly to do the first reading, second reading, do the public hearing, pass it to law, and let it be that it was not assented to by the president. But for people to sit in their homes and start calling President Muhammad Buhari should allow state police, how is he going to do that?
All right. So,
how will he do that?
All right. So, Governor, we just have about 60 seconds to close. There was a Southern Governors meeting. What happened there? What did you discuss?
Well, we had a virtual meeting yesterday, and where the conveners of the meeting, of course, invited us to the meeting, and then we adjourned for next week. When we meet, we will know the specific issues. We don't have specific issues now, and I was not the convener of the meeting, but I attended the meeting. And it is good that also that we allow forums like that where we come together, compare notes, brainstorm, share ideas for the interest of our country.
On a final note, and this is a point where I'd like you to anchor on. What are your hopes and aspirations for Imo State as their governor right now? And what would you want to be remembered for?
I've come with a 3R mantra of rehabilitation, reconstruction, and recovery, anchored on the doctrine of prosperity. I've come to create wealth. I've come to create an economy. I've come to restore infrastructure that have decayed over time, and then develop new ones. I want to make the difference. I have also seen this as an opportunity for me to contribute my own quota towards the development of my state and by extension Nigeria is service, service, and service.
Senator Hope Uzodinma, Executive Governor of Imo State, thank you so much for talking to us on Channels Television tonight.
Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you.
I appreciate your time. And that's the interview with the Executive Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching tonight. I'm Sean Kimbale. Bye for now.